It is the new tele-biography that's been making so many headlines, The Windsor Legacy. Well, it lifts the lid on some of the biggest scandals to have rocked the royal family. And Robert Jobson, who has been a royal commentator for over 3 decades, well, he's the author behind the book and joins me now. Robert, great to see you. And it is a comprehensive look at the soap opera that the royal family is really, isn't it? I mean, goodness me, I don't know how you managed to get it all into this book. I bet there was loads that you left out.
There's loads you left out for other books. But no, I looked at really from the birth of Elizabeth through the whole, because she encompassed the Windsor dynasty. So from 1926 to 2026, 100 years, and just sort of knit together, if you like, all those stories, the highs and the lows, and the survival at the end of the monarchy and where it is now. So it was a good comprehensive look at that, but it also shows you how closely related all of those different stories are and that narrative is.
No, very much so. I mean, the most recent scandal obviously involves the royal, formerly known as Prince Andrew, now just Andrew. There's no coming back for him, is there? I mean, you detail a lot of it in the book. There's a lot of stuff that I wasn't aware of, but he can't come back now, surely. I
wouldn't have thought so. I don't think he'd necessarily want to. I mean, he's been pretty bruised from the whole of the experience, but the reality is this, you know, there is a degree of it being uncomfortable because he's lied, he's been found out, that's the problem. But the evidence it hasn't gone to court. It's not. There's that lack of finality about it, and
he's always denied everything.
He's always denied everything, but there's been a £12 million payout, and I think when the Queen was alive, they were very keen for it to go away ahead of that Jubilee year. So I mean, you know, there are still unanswered things there, but I feel a lot of sympathy in some ways for Sarah, because if she's been lied to herself, then she's been, you know, almost involved in the same way.
Yes.
And I think I'm a little uncomfortable with that as well.
No, it's interesting what you said, because, you know, you've said that we actually should cut her a bit of slack.
Well, I think to a degree we should.
And you've spoken to her, haven't you? You've been in touch with her.
Been in touch, but the reality is that, you know, we don't know what she actually knew. And is she guilty of any of these things? Look, she took money from this guy. He's a financier. She took money from him. But she's admitted to this now, made mistakes. But is she in the same position as him? I don't feel comfortable with that, really. And
as you said, she has been through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, her troubles are usually self-inflicted. Money just runs through her hands. She just can't seem to keep hold of it or manage it.
Well, the thing is, though, Lorraine, is when she was brought into the royal family in that marriage, it was a big... You know, these two were the stars. They were the Harry and Meghan of '86. You know, they were big stars at the time. And then all of a sudden the marriage failed. She didn't get a particularly big divorce settlement. I'm not here to defend her, but all of a sudden there she was living a lifestyle that was just dropped, and then she had to find a way to live. So, look, I'm not defending her, but I am concerned about everybody's mental health in all this. And obviously, the victims are the most important people to consider. They're the people that have suffered, and the tragedy that happened with Virginia Giuffre is never going to go away for their family. But equally, we have to consider other people on the wider scale as well. Yeah, that's true, because sometimes we think of these characters as just like cartoons. You know, they don't have feelings, and they're just like symbols in a sense. I mean, you mentioned Harry and Meghan there. That, again, you go into that a lot in the book as to what's happened there. Looking ahead, because obviously the book talks about survival, again, any way that they can maybe get what they want, which was a kind of half in, half out, being sort of royal but not really. I think the Queen got it right. I don't think you can. I don't think you can. I think that, you know, that they do have a great life of privilege and live in nice houses and have quite a good a lifestyle. Yes, there are issues as well with you know, security and things you've got to worry about. But at the same time, you can't have it both ways. I don't think either of them would want that. The Queen acknowledged that, and you can't then monetarise a system in the way that would be, because then it's not really fair. It's not right or proper. But I think you know, today we've got the Harry's press man said, "Oh, there was no intention to clash with William when Harry announced his trip to Toronto." Well, he has. That's right. And so, you know, you're going to get this problem as well. You're off the grid, and therefore you're not part of the way that it works. And, you know, William and Charles won't clash on their visits. Right, so they plan it carefully, don't they? If somebody's going away to do something or somebody's announcing something, they make sure that it's clear for them. But, of course, when William's doing his... And we're going to talk about that later, about his whole Earthshot thing, which is a great and an amazing cause, but then that's taken away
by the fact that Harry's doing something else. Oh, geez.
And that will always be a bit of a conflict that's going forward. So my feeling is that the Queen got it right, the late Queen got it right.
I still call her the Queen. I think lots of people still call her the Queen.
And she did it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can understand why Harry and Meghan wanted away. If you look through the book, you know, you look at that being that spare role. It's not an easy particular role.
No, nobody's ever handled
Princess
it particularly
Margaret didn't have the greatest of time, and now we see with Andrew the fallout of Andrew's the whole thing. But I think the Andrew story, as you raised earlier, is such a huge problem because, you know, it's still unresolved. And, you know, when we had the abdication crisis, you know, he was created the Duke of Windsor and disappeared into exile. Well, I think probably that's, you know, whilst he's always around, the paparazzi will always be photographing him, and it doesn't matter if you've got Prince in your name. You know, he's still a notable person. And Andrew Mountbatten that doesn't mean he's just going to disappear. And he's still the same person.
You sort of think now, I mean, you know, Kate's not been well, of course. She's had to deal with cancer, as is King Charles. But a lot of attention is on Catherine. And, you know, you just think those slim shoulders are going to take a big load, aren't they?
But she has really proved to be the sort of glue in the royal family in terms of the way that she's raised the children, and they seem to be very balanced in the way they're dealing with things. Prince William, I think, should be commended the way that they've balanced that whole to keep their children's privacy safe, but at the same time given public exposure. And, you know, and I think really that the King, with his other two siblings, the Princess Royal and Prince Edward, have been doing a very good job, I think, in trying to sort of balance that transition. But it doesn't mean, you know, as I say in the book, you know, unless you have the people's trust, you really do not have... The monarchy doesn't survive.
And it is you know, the story says, you say, secret scandal and survival. They have survived a lot, as you can see in the book. You know, there's many things that they've survived. Do you think they will survive in the future? You know, do you think it's sustainable?
I do think at the moment it's sustainable. I don't think that they're going to sustain in the realms of Australia and New Zealand. I don't really think that will go. I think that at some stage they'll have their own heads of state. I think the Commonwealth is separate. That will continue to grow, and it has grown. But in this country, I think probably yes, but nothing is guaranteed. And I think scandals like this, and also, you know, with respect to Prince Harry, the fact that he left and then wrote his book and started casting aspersions about the royal family, all of these things don't help.
No, they chip away, don't they?
Because they chip away. And I think the younger generation, from what I feel, aren't in the same way enamoured about the royal family as, say, people of my generation or even before.
That's true. And indifference is actually very
difficult. They question it. They question, and rightly so.
Yeah, no, of course. It's a cracking read, Robert. It really is. Anybody that is interested in the subject, you will learn things that you thought you knew, but you don't. There's a lot in here. Thank you so much.
Ryan.
And Robert's book, The Windsor Legacy, is out tomorrow. Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.